So you can continue and have an idea of what we are doing.
Yes, of course.
Thanks, Fernando. Thanks, Sarah, for joining us today, especially Sarah, who is in the middle of a trip. She's inside a train joining us. And before we start, do you want to say something, Sarah? Because Fernando, it might disappear soon, I guess.
No, I'm staying here. But Sarah,
You're staying here today
yeah,
with
today,
us. Oh.
today we can till 3.
Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Oh, I'm sorry, the train is a little bit noisy. Do you hear me? Okay, this is here high-speed train, very sustainable. I cross the Spanish continent in this moment. So for me, it's a big pleasure to be here with you. You know, maybe you have listened our names. I'm Sarah. I'm the director of learning and responsible for really broadening our network of trainers and also spread out what is localization of the global agenda. So I work in Barcelona together with Fernando, together with others you have maybe already seen. And I would first like to give you a wonderful news I just received. There was a student from Dani Union of Municipality. You remember Manar and Sandra, I think. Sit. Your students?
Yeah, yes, I do. Wonderful.
Lebanon. So they have done a localizing strategy together with youth and the refugees in Lebanon, in their municipal union. And they presented this strategy to get the award of Guangzhou, which is a very, very precious award, also has financial, is 20,000 euros, so it's quite substantive. And they presented for the award their strategy, and they will be winning this afternoon. There will be announcement. They have gone through several rounds. I was very happy to moderate their session, and they are winning this precious award for urban innovation. This is a global award, and I think it's amazing how the work unfolds and the originality of the proposal, also including young refugees, and build solidarity on a very small scale, was conceived as highly innovative. So I think this is congratulations also to SIT as guiding them very well through this incredible experience. And of course, for us, it is nice to see that after this work here, people get a clear understanding what they can do. They do, and they also use the networks, and they use the channels of information to make their own strategies known. So now they have a little fan club, and I think it's a really nice motivation, and we hope that this is inspiring for you as well. So this is a little bit why we do this. So we are not only here to give you information, to tell you what others are doing, to look through the cases. We are here because we also want you to work in the local governments. We want you to be active. We want you to be little stars in your government that guide others, that illuminate the possibilities of your colleagues, that enhance the communication with the communities, that use the SDGs narrative and the SDG power, because it is the strongest and the most positive agenda of all, to really improve the services of the local government. So for us, I think what is really interesting, you can of course find a lot of information. Fernando has done a great job with all the how and what you can connect.
I think
But use this course to write your story, to build block by block. You do not need to have a big story, but just to structure. That's why in the first module we are on communication. On the second is strategic planning. This is no other way, no other point than if I have an idea, how do I make it possible? How do I align the stakeholders? How do I monitor and how do I communicate? So this is the module 2, which is also soon coming, and Sid is a great expert on this. And of course, it's not only filling a list or filling an indicator or showing that the municipality is aware of SDG 6 and is providing transport. This is what, of course, is usually done, and you will know how to structure a voluntary local review and a report. But the monitoring is an exercise for better and more precise communication that is better to be understood by others, by other actors. We can take it up, think of information always in numbers, in short sentences, because these are the ones that make the way around the world, because people will maybe remember this. So as localization is connecting policies that are globally important and universal, connecting to concrete territories. And you are all from concrete territories, and we are very, very interested to hear now. So this, of course, sums up in the end to the world story of the big movement localization is about. So I'm very happy to be here, and I hope my battery will stand so I can listen. And I will now switch off my mic because I think the noise is really very hard. Happy to be with you.
Thanks, Sarah, for the very, very good news. Manar is an amazing person, and she really does a wonderful work in Lebanon. And I'm definitely send her a note to congratulate for this conquer. And let's start. You know that the idea of this Zoom debate, based on we have already seen in our course, in our readings, in our examples, it's to start to connect you with your reality. So it to make you start thinking a little bit about your country, your region, your city, and to think if they have an enabling environment for SDG localization. And what do I mean with enabling environment? Do I have the technical resources? Do I have the political intention? Do I see efforts from these different levels of government in order to understand that they are really trying to use the global goals as a tool? It's not only a political issue, but it's a tool for planning, a tool for communicating. And during our talk on Wednesday, it was very interesting because when Octavio was talking about the reality of Spain, it was important during the debate that even though everything is aligned, everything seems perfect, everything is beautiful, but in his by his eyes, he didn't see that community knows what global goals means. So I would like you also to add this. So is there an enabling environment in your country, in your region, in your city? And do the population know about the goals? Or do they have an idea what does it means? And are they aware of what your country, region, or cities are doing? So let's try to talk a little bit about this. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. So I want to know who is going to be the first victim to talk about that. Remember, if you don't make yourself available, I'm the one to make you talk. So Frankie,
I can speak. Yeah.
Please. I'm
Yeah,
alone
this is
in
me.
I'm kind of alone in the Portuguese mafia today. The Brazilians have abandoned me, so please help me.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is me, Frankie, from connecting you from Timor-Leste. For overall SDG localization, it's I will say in Timor-Leste, it's fortunately that we have our national strategic development plan, which is it was implemented before the SDG is in place. It's our national strategic plan is from 2011 to 2030. So for overall targets, 17 targets and indicators, it's almost all of them. It's mostly in line with our national strategic plans. Only one is missing, the partnership for corporate partnership for development. It's missing, but the other 16 targets, it's in line with our strategic developments. So that's the good news. Just to give you the overall idea how our government is functions. While we have central governments, and totally we have 13 municipality, but we have one special regions, and 4 municipality which led by the president of authorities, while the other is led by the administrator of the municipality. So the difference is still in the it's still how we call it, administrative decentralizations. Only one special region in we call it we could see special regions, and we also name it as a special zone for social economic development in Oikus. It's one enclave that it's directly land border with Indonesia, with only that regions have a special authority and regulations, which is under Prime Minister office, while the rest of the municipality authority is under the Minister of State Administrations. And but the 12 out of 13, they don't have fiscal decentralizations. So all the budgets, they just rely on general state budgets, and they rely on general state budget, but they don't even present their own needs, the fiscal needs directly to the parliament. It have to go through Minister of State Administrations. While the one in Oikus, special region, is they have authority to present directly their details, annual plans and budgets, and present it before the parliament. That's to give you the idea how the localization of SDG in Timor-Leste function. Which the SDG itself, it's lead directly under Prime Minister office. We have it, the unit of unit of planning, evaluation, and we call it UPMA in Timor-Leste, unit of planning and evaluations, which is coordinating all the line and sectoral ministries which regarding to the SDG target achievements. But yes, to localizing SDG, it's I will say the overalls we are still it's very lack that the people in rural area or in the municipality are aware of the SDG itself. But since SDG itself it's it's in line and responding to the basic need of the peoples, which in line with the national strategic plans, which is only the name in itself. I would say it's the global agenda, but it's meet the grassroots addressing the poverty, health, sanitations, and that's the basic need of the people in municipality. So it is it's going to meet their needs, but since the only the naming, so it's not enough sensibilization, enough information from the national level to the municipality levels. Like here itself, I will say is the dire the main actor of the SDG localization is it's mainly driven by the development partners. So the main lead agency here in Timor-Leste as UNDP is doing their work very greatly, while UNDP also the other supporting UN agency, and also here we have the very active support of the European Unions for not localizing SDG, I will say, but trying to achieve SDG targets here in Timor-Leste. But yes, the government is also doing their part, but limiting the resources, not only the budget, but human resources. It's also the issue here that we face in Timor-Leste. So, but yes, we generally the government of Timor-Leste have overalls and measurables activities and targets that need to achieve by 2030s. So it's that is the overall good news that we have. But the bad thing is that most of the local authority they don't have fiscal authorities to present the aspiration of the people in their respective municipalities, village or administrative post to the nationals. So our approach, the government approach, is top downs. So when the minister is already decided the policy, and the administrative authority or the sectoral directorates in the municipality, they just follow and implement it. So that is just and they reported it. They report it back. They accountable it to the national government instead of accountable it to the local peoples. And since there is no local election yet, we only have the national elections. So the local authorities, the municipality, president of municipality, it's led or it's selected by the Minister of State Administration. So they are required to report and accountable to their boss in national levels, instead accountable to the community in rural area. So that's the overall challenges and the background that we have here in Timor-Leste. I think
Thanks, Frank. Thanks a
for
lot.
me from now. Yeah.
I have one question. I think our colleagues also have questions as well. And Sarah made a question, but part of Sarah's question you have already answered. But I think it's good to register. My question would be regarding the strategic planning that you mentioned, that was developed before 2015. It's towards 2030. It's about to be reviewed, or they never thought about reviewing it based on the agenda. This is mine. Sarah asks you if it would be better to have more autonomy, or in a small state like Timor-Leste, there's no need to more autonomy at the local level. And what do you suggest as an action for local and regional governments. But this is, I think this is the part that you have already commented. I think I saw Miran was raising hands.
Yes, please.
No?
Yeah.
Any more questions? Fernando, would you like to do to? Oh, it was Andrea, sorry.
Yes, it was me. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning in Ecuador. Yes,
Wow.
I kind of like the same question that you did. It's about how the government is measuring the accomplishment of the SDGs. That was my question.
Thanks, Andrea. Andrea is in this part of the world, just like me, it's morning. So please, Frankie. The
Yes.
floor is
Yeah.
yours again.
We have how we call it the national initiative review as well, but which is as I mentioned before, that's all of the SDG goals and indicator is connected. It's to the SDP. So it's the like. Let me show you some. So the majority of the SDG as strategic development target, it's also mentioned in the SDG goal. So it's whenever the short indicator is whenever the government achieve the SDP targets, strategic development target, and it automatically meets strategic development goal as well. That is what that is the good things that we have, and it's already in place. But yes, since the strategic development is not almost half of them are not met according to the timelines set, and we have the short terms, medium, and the long terms target to be achieved. That's why under this current governments, with the under responsibility of the second prime minister, deputy prime ministers, they are doing the revision of the strategic developments, and I believe after the revision is available, it will be in line more with the SDG targets, and considering the technical challenges and financials luckiness that the government and the country is facing nowadays as well. And yeah, I will give a short comment to the Sarai's questions. The government is now actively pushing the agenda for localization or decentralizations. Since the government plan is facing like the first phase, we are starting with administrative decentralizations, and it's piloting to the other municipal, like I mentioned before, the 4 municipalities now led by the president of authority. It's not fully fiscal decentralization yet, but with the current initiative of the governments, and with support with development partners like European Unions and the UNDP, the government is now pushing this agenda further to establish decentralization or fiscal decentralizations in short period of time, I would say.
Thanks a lot, Frankie.
Yeah, just recently the how we call it, the local how we call it, the local powers legislation is just promulgated by the parliaments. So the local authorities now have more fiscal powers and political powers than before.
Let's wait and see what's gonna happen in the following months, and I'm sure now you're gonna be able to help with local localization of the SDGs. From Timor-Leste, where are we going now? Andrea, let's go to Ecuador.
Yes, I would like to be the second, just because I have a baby right now and I might have to breastfeed and then work.
Please.
Well, it was very interesting what Frankie was saying. And in Ecuador, we have the national government, we have a regional government, and we also have municipal governments, which are the local governments. And also we have parish governments, which is very interesting because we have a decentralized system, which have worked very good so far, but we have a lot of work to do, to have like a real decentralized system in Ecuador. But in my case, I work at Cenecit, which is the Secretariat of Higher Education, and we are a regional office that works with the national government, but we are half, to say, kind of decentralized, but the big decisions have to be taken along with the national government. Although I think the difficult part to accomplish SDGs in Ecuador, I think it's the change of governments. We have now a new government, a new president, and I actually watched the video recording about the last, I think it was Wednesday debate, and I heard Octavi said something about Vox and how in Spain everything is perfect with SDGs, but the decision makers and the policy makers are taking these actions and signing the Madrid Charter, and this is what happened in Ecuador. Actually, our presidents just signed the Madrid Charter with Vox, which is kind of worrying for the accomplishment of SDGs. We have a national planning and regional planning and local planning that it's supposed to be aligned with the SDGs, but by suppose I mean they are aligned, but we're not measuring them. We don't have like these measuring things that will show us how the SDGs are being accomplished. And we are 2021 already. We have 9 years to accomplish them, and 9 years seem to be a lot of time, but time flies away a lot, really, really fast. And when you're in the government or a local government to accomplish, it's kind of hard when you have 4 years of term to accomplish your plan and also accomplish the SDGs. But I think that's one thing, and the other thing is that it's kind of hard to I think we need a better cooperation between the national, the local, and the regional governments, and also the other powers of the state, like the National Assembly. And the other, well, the National Assembly, since they are the ones that are the policymakers, and also the other levels of government, which is kind of hard in Ecuador right now because the president do not get along with some of the mayors, and the mayors do not get along with some of the presidents of the parish government. So I think that's one hard thing that we have to I don't know the word of that, to get better in, and I think that's the most difficult thing to accomplish in the SDGs. And
Andrea,
all,
oh,
yes.
sorry. No, do you, we talked about this one. Do you have the feeling, I made the joke that suddenly everybody made all the publications colorful with the 17 colors, and people love to say, oh, I love SDGs, but by the end of the day, they are doing nothing.
Exactly.
Do you have that feeling?
Yes, I do. I do have that feeling, and also I think the SDGs are like the main theme that it's talked about only by the international departments, and but the population itself, if you ask someone in the street and what are the SDGs, and they will say the SD what, or they don't even know that. So we don't have, well, we need to have like a better, communication plan to to have the population get involved in SDGs accomplishment process. So that's like the first step that we already saw in the baseline document, and I think that's something that we haven't worked in here in Ecuador. I think in Cuenca, yes, where I live, actually Cuenca is like the main city that where the SDGs are being worked, but I think we have so much work to do to accomplish SDGs, especially getting population get involved.
Thank you very much. It's good to have this overhaul, because it makes more it's less colorful, because we most of the time we are used to go into official web pages or publications, and then we see, oh, look, amazing, they have the logo of the agenda. Oh, the mayor is there, he's using the circle. But by the end of the day, it's more it's a political wheel, but it's not converted into actions. So it's only marketing in terms of international agendas and to occupy a place in this globalization world that we live with, all the international agencies, and that you need to show that you are aligned with the agendas. Thank you very much, and congratulations for your baby.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions to Andrea? No? Any comments, Fernando? Can we continue?
Yeah, sure. I think I will do a general comment in the end, just to listen to everyone.
Okay. Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. Andrea, I think that we're going to Colombia now. You're just gonna cross the border and talk to Luz.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Well, as you know, I work at ECLE, so I don't work like in a local government. So I choose one city that is on our network, that is Sao Paulo. And also because before ECLE, I worked at Sao Paulo City Hall. So it's like a very close city to me. So about Sao Paulo, we made in June of 2020 a voluntary local review about the SDG. Maybe this focus a little bit more in legal and political framework about the SDG and this multi-level governance. And one of the things that that we could like talk about in this review was the regional councils for environment, sustainable development, and culture of peace, called CADES. And this was like a first important actions of the municipality to localize this global agenda. Also in 2017, it was created the Municipal Committee for Sustainable Development Goals. So it was like a committee really focused on this topic. This was at the beginning, it was like a little bit general, but then the law assigns a deliberative nature. So before it was like just a consultative instance, but after that, grants like to create inside this body decision-making power in the municipal public policies. And so this kind of strengthen the role of civil society in this kind of topic that, as Andrea said, is kind of difficult to make this awareness of the civil society. So this was like a first step to get involved, this actor. About something I would like a little bit about the monitoring thing that you were talking about. What Sao Paulo made, and I think that other cities also made, is to link the SDGs to the goals properly of the city. So, for example, the program of goals of 2017-2020 link the 36 goals to the each one of the sustainable development goals. So this was like a kind of option to monitor these achievements. And also there is one thing called the multi-annual plan that is approved for the city council. And this is like the budget planning instrument, the main budget planning instrument. And this for the 2018-2021, it was mandatory to link these actions to the SDGs also. So it is kind of also another way to monitor these achievements. And well, coming back to the Municipal Committee for Sustainable Development, it was recently created. It involves the civil society, so they have these representations. It have representation also of the private sector and of the public sector. It creates also like an intersecretarial working group in these terms of public sector, which this group defines and monitors the indicators and the sustainable development goals. It has participation of practically all the secretaries of the city hall. And so I think the awareness in this sense is kind of improvement in like mainly in the public workers, but I think Sao Paulo also have to improve about the civil society awareness as other cities.
Luz, let me, Sao Paulo is one of the biggest cities in the world. It's part of a metropolitan region. Do you see the work Sao Paulo has been doing aligned with the metropolitan region, with the state and the national level?
Yes, I think more in the metropolitan and regional, the states. National, so because as you know, the national government currently in Brazil is kind of, I don't know how to describe, but at regional level, yes. I mean, this kind of spaces, the committee and all of this actually were started in the regional government. So this was like a thing that the city take like example and implemented at local level. So they are aligned, yes. Well, And finally, about a little bit about human capacities, that it was like another element. It also, Sao Paulo has created some courses like this one that help, especially like the public server, the public workers, to know and to understand more about the SDGs. They have a course like specific or like in a general level of the SDGs, and they have also other like a focus on topics like, for example, now that I am working on ICLEI, I see more about the climate action, like the 13 SDG. So they have now their action plan and all this, and is linked with the SDGs. So I think Sao Paulo is like a good example, but of course, it have left a lot of work yet to accomplish all these goals.
Thank you very much, Luz. It's quite interesting because it's a big city and it's the size of it's bigger than Portugal in population, and it's quite difficult to manage and to plan a city like this and to align to really align with the international agenda. So I'm not sure if they have an English version of the VLR, but Sao Paulo VLR is in the list of the VLRs that are recognized by the United Nations. So for those who want to know a little bit more, you can find it in next chapter. We're going to have access to the list. Thanks a
Yes,
lot.
it have an English version. I can copy the link on the chat.
Perfect, perfect. And any questions? Or can we go on? I have Miran has asked to talk after.
Yes, please.
After Luz. Welcome, Miran.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. Today I will tell you about how enabling is the environment for localizing the SDGs in Palestine. Everyone knows that Palestine is a state under occupation, and the Israeli occupations has violations of international law and to continue for the international law is actually the biggest challenge for Palestine to achieve the SDGs. But I say, where is a will, there is always a way. So let's go back to the Palestinian authorities in 1995. They have been working on building since the 1995. They have been working on building the governmental institutions and legislative bodies and juridical system. Since the 2015 until the 2022, under the slogan of putting citizen first, the Palestinian government launched the national policy agenda. This agenda lays the foundation for 3 pillars for the future of state of Palestine. These pillars are path to independence, government reform and improve services to citizens, and sustainable development. Actually, I could find a report published by the government of Palestine in 2018. I think it's the only report I could find. I don't think they have another one. In this report, the government could give an assessment, constraints, and interventions to each of the 17 goals. And actually, they added another goal. It's ending the occupation and consolidation of the independent state of Palestine and the 1967 borders and East Jerusalem as its capital. So it's the 18th goal of the SDGs. Now I'll go to decentralization, and I'll give you like a hierarchy of governmental levels. We have the Palestinian government. It goes down to Palestinian Council of Ministers, and there's a lot of councils concerning economy, merchandising, Ministry of Local Government, which we, the municipalities, are goes under it, and municipalities after that, private sectors, investors, academic world, international and national NGOs. These are supportive for the governmental system. I'll talk about in generally about resources. Palestine has resources, but the problem is the Palestinians, they don't control these resources. The occupation does. For financial resources, we rely on foreign aids, NGOs, regional development banks, World Bank, but always there's a challenge also in these financial aids. For example, the Palestinian, when they receive financial aid for let's say construction, infrastructure constructions and projects. Some of the times these aids go to reconstruction of Gaza. Anytime the Israeli decided to strike Gaza, the Palestinian has to, with all the aids coming, they have to reconstruct it from scratch. They reconstruct like whole neighborhoods. So the financial aid, we don't have any control, not any control. We have a control, but not fully control on these kind of financial aid. Let's say about making decisions. I'll talk about what I know as a colleague in Ramallah municipality, because I work there. The municipality holds like 2 to 3 public hearings a year. Each year they have 2 to 3 public hearings. They invite stakeholders, they invite public institutions, investors, private sectors to this public hearing. They hear people, what they have to do, complaints, ideas, and the municipality itself, they show people what they're doing, what they're intending to do, reports about financial reports, budget reports. There's a very high level of transparency between the locals and the municipality. From my point of view, I think it's a very good start to a very good, actually not started, a very good process to keep on doing this, because we all in the municipality know what's in the people needs, what's going on, what they complaining about. Okay, and for what I want to tell you about also public awareness. Of course, it's a very good thing to start with. I'm one of the people who didn't hear about SDGs until the municipality nominated me for this online course. And for another example, in 2016, there was a campaign called Greening Palestine. Palestinian planted around 650,000 plants all over the West Bank. I think one of the people, I didn't know about this campaign. It's related to strategies of development and sustainable development to create green areas to maintain the level of the healthy environment until actually this course. This was one of the campaigns that they did for to implement a very small part of the sustainable development strategies. I believe that the government, with the help of all people around and every level of the government and its branches. They have to equip an army of experts and specialists of all fields and sectors to provide the knowledge data needed to implement SDGs. And I believe we do have these experts and these specialists, but I feel like we have to start somewhere and do this army of equipped people of knowledge. Of course, there's a lot of challenges in Palestine concerning implementation and monitoring SDGs. I think I'll be more active in this in the second part of this on the forum. I'll do my opinion there. But one of these challenges is data updating data, not the data itself. It's just updating the data and data collection. We're not always we don't have always the needed data to monitor the SDGs. As I said before, the government, they are aware of these 17 goals and they're working on them, but how far did they implement? There's no monitoring or a level of assessment I can know about, actually. One of the things, yes.
Let me, I'll do a horrible question, but you made me think of something, and I would like to see if you can help me with my thought. Do you think that the dependency on international aid, especially resource, made the commitment to the agenda stronger because most of the donors, they are all aligned with the international agendas? Do you think that this made Palestine government be aligned and reach for the goals, because they know that if they need to ask for money, if they need resource, they must be?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, because you made me have that thought, and it's good in one side, but it's bad on the other, because it's not spontaneous. But if they're doing this in a good way, okay, keep on doing. But I think that we have to keep this in mind. There, just like there's a hidden agenda on that, because I need that, so I will do this. So, but please continue. Sorry.
I would like just to talk about more about from my field of work, actually. One of the I think the government sometimes they taking the SDGs as a resistant action for the occupation. For example, I think 4 months ago, the government released a decision says that the Oslo Agreement is cancelled, and the ABCs, the division of land, doesn't exist anymore. So go, please, municipalities and local ministers, go ahead and expand your master plans and include more land to your to your master plans, and try to organize it and make connectivity of road connectivity, and they're trying just to I think it's kind of resistance of the occupation. I'm not gonna do what you want anymore, and we'll do it our way this time. So for the Ramallah municipality, they already are working on it. They're expanding the master plan, they're organizing the lands, the land use, they're creating and designing the roads connecting with other cities around Ramallah city. So I think I know more about urban stuff, maybe not all the SDGs, but it's more about urban planning and what's related in that.
And a way of resistance.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
It's
you, thank you.
always very good to listen about what's going on in Palestine, and you all have a joy of living that inspire us to keep on believing that it's possible.
It's always possible.
Yeah, I'm sure it
Where
is.
there's a will, it's always there's a way.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. Any comments or
Seth.
questions for Miran? No? So nobody said who's going to be the next. So I can start choosing. Let me see on my list. Oh, I have a hand raised. I don't know which. Oh, it's just Fernando.
Just
Bothering
excited
me.
with Miriam presentation, sorry.
Yeah, it's always wonderful. Natalia, you want to talk? Please, Natalia. Once again, thanks, Miran. Hi, Natalia. We are not listening to you, no? What the hell is going on? No. Weird.
Sid, if needed, I'd be happy to go next.
Okay. Natalia, my suggestion would be you to live and enter again, because sometimes the sound doesn't connect. In the meanwhile, Billy will be talking. Can it be?
Sounds great.
Go, Bill, please.
I saw Sarah in the train and got an idea of coming outdoors. I hope it's okay.
Please.
I mean, we came, now we had a wonderful travel to South America. Now we heard Miran talk excellent, wonderful, important things from Palestine. And now we are in Northern Europe where the sun doesn't shine that much now. So we need to enjoy when it does. But for bandwide, I'll spare you and switch off the camera. And Sid, by the way, before we go any further, so Miran did amazing work in our group work, just amazing work. I mean, I can't describe how great the work was, but it was truly amazing. I'm sure you'll take that into account when you give special grades. Hey, so localizing SDGs.
During my weekend.
Well, I mean, lifelong learning. I mean, that's what we're in for. So anyway, I mean, wonderful. How to say this? It's been so exciting to listen to you all. I'll try to add something to this discussion, a dimension of just very local work down there where the rubber meets the road. As you know, UN is going to launch the UMF, the monitoring framework for cities next March. That's going to be super exciting. How does a global monitoring framework fit into what cities do? That's kind of the research question I want to try to answer, and perhaps a kind of case study from Espoo. So I think we learned a lot about national level work for SDGs, but kind of the pros and cons. For cities, it's still much about trying to get the citizens committed, feel belonging, get them participating. It's much about the organization as well. I think we all have wonderful, smart people in our cities. Still, many of them do not recognize the agenda or the SDGs too well at kind of their ethos. So we need to work for this. And then, of course, all the linkages. So if the cities count for 2/3 of sustainable development work, I think voluntary national review in Finland has about 80% of data coming directly from cities. I mean, cities are just so important in all of this. So how do we go about turning this multilateral agenda and SDGs into localized form? And you know, this is something that we work on a daily basis. And I don't remember, was it Franco who talked about this, that you need to take your own objectives, your own strategy, and kind of reflect that in relation to the agenda. And I think this is crucially important. That's at least what we do in ESPO. That for us, we think about what do we really want to achieve. And then, of course, the 17 SDGs at the title level is an excellent fit. I mean, they really do resonate really well, what to do, and even kind of like why and how. But the thing is that at the target and indicator level, you have to be able to translate them to really work well with your own objectives. And this is something that we call SDG sense making. It's basically that we look into the main strategy. We look into what do the units and departments do, and then together with them and together with citizens, we create an analysis process where targets and indicators are turned into a localized form. And this is something that we're really excited about. It's relatively demanding because it's time consuming, and as we know, there's people. Okay, the last 2 weeks in Glasgow, we all know how important that is. Although agenda work is kind of cross-cutting all themes and fields, I think that we still need to work a lot to keep the SDGs kind of there in the main frame, and kind of hold on to the fact that they can help us in almost everything we do, whether it's social, economical, or ecological. I'd like to talk more about the analysis process, but I'm kind of thinking that perhaps that's for later moment. Sid, I think that's all for me now, if it's okay.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks a lot, and thanks for bringing this this perspective from for being local, and the importance of having this of being part of the agenda, and how to connect with the whole process. I think it's really important to have this point of view that and it's very similar to I think that for what Miriam talked with, if there is if there is a real commitment, you can make it happen. And I think that we have seen this today in different perspectives, but by the end of the day, everybody is really looking for the same results. And it looks like 9 years is not that much, but there's still a lot of things to be done in those 9 years. And I'm sure that probably most of you are going to be actors in the achievement of the goals in your cities, regions, and countries. I'm sure about that. Thanks again for sharing with us. Natalia did get in. She got sound and then she fell again. So while Natalia is not joining us, who wants to talk? We still have Bella. Hello.
Hello, Sid.
Hello, Bella.
Hi. I'm still waiting for my colleague Harzila. Both of us just come back from a workshop, 4 days workshop in a city near to Singapore, but it's in our country. It's Johor Bahru, just at the border of Malaysia.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to on my camera because I think I'm in a tired situation, but I try my best to share some ideas.
Harzila just arrived.
Yeah, she just arrived, but I arrived a bit earlier because I'm from another group.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. It's regarding the some of the main topic is legal and political framework, decentralization, financial resources, and technical resources also, and multi-level governance, human capital, human capacities. I think in my personal opinion, Malaysia is Malaysia has a structured call it as a structured plan for SDG implementation. Let me share some of that. In 2015, Malaysia has set up a committee for SDG governance structure in Malaysia, which chaired by Prime Minister and with a steering committee, and together with a working committee for the team inclusivity, well-being, human capital, environment, natural resources, and economic growth. They have project to the action with another align with Malaysia 11 plan, then SDG, which they have about 6 pillar of that, and they have put all the 7 things goal into its category. What is the priority to execute? And for national level of Malaysia, these goals are led by our ministry according to their portfolio. For instance, like Kuala Lumpur City Hall, we are under Ministry of Federal Territories. And then what I can share with you is in terms of funds and financial resources, we just have the budgets assembly, and what I can conclude from the presentation from our finance minister, all the some of the budget allocation for our country are spent more on communities and sustainables for 2022, which has a good feedback from the local citizen. So this is a sort of awareness that national government has doing. I'm sorry, I think I am a bit not prepared for this, but do you get the idea what I'm sharing with you? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Yeah.
And something that looks very interesting to me is that we're talking that we know that Malaysia has very good financial conditions. So we're talking of a country that has financial conditions to implement the agenda. And like you were saying, you're not only having the financial resource, but you also have people that are able to do this. And it looks like that the Malaysian government is choosing to do investments in important areas, those that really need investments. And this proves kind of a real commitment, just like that we were saying before. It's not only a colorful book or the circle in the cloak of the prime minister. It's translated into actions. And I think that sometimes, even though if the government is not really I cannot say aligned, but using the agenda to promote itself, but if it's doing this through actions, it's really important to recognize. I think that the biggest question to Malaysia would try to see if it's Malaysia is monitoring, if it's they are reporting the results of those investments, not necessarily to the international arena, but to its own population. So people are aware that those investments are being done towards sustainable development. I think this is something very important also to think, so people can be aware of their own role in the achievement of the goals.
In a smaller context, in local government as a city hall, we think that all our ongoing plan or the plan before the SDG are much related to the SDG actually, because we have for development and on communities, we have implement a lot of plans, and we need to align all the plans like smart city plans and low carbon plans for sustainable. We also have neutral city project. We have also a lot of initiative that I think that when the SDG movement is arrived on 2015, so it's a good to align all the goals together with our efforts in developing the city. And from our level, the mayor is actively make monthly reports and collect data by the committee established in the city hall. I think
No,
my colleague Hazila was,
that's very good. Vil, do you have a question to Bella?
A question or perhaps a comment, because what I hear is really important and kind of takes us back to the question that if we aim to build smart cities and sustainable cities, each city has its own personality, kind of perhaps several cities in Malaysia have the same amount of people, perhaps it's about the same budget, etc., etc. But each of these cities are quite special in their character, I'm quite sure. And this means that you cannot use just one single set of metrics to all of them, because then, you know, it's like you have everything, but you have nothing. So I believe that for national governments, the targets and indicators do work as they are, and they need to, because that is kind of more structured. But for local governments, for cities, it's very important that the SDGs kind of serve the core strategy of that city, because otherwise it's a tail is wagging the dog instead of serving kind of the needs of the city. I think this takes us back to the VLR, the voluntary local review movement, where of course we need transparency and we need to be able to relate and compare. But in addition, why do a voluntary local review that is basically just, you know, copy paste on what you are doing, instead of doing a voluntary local review that really digs into the core needs of the city? So I'm listening very carefully to you, Bella, and I really love what I hear, because I think that this is something that you and Habitat also quite strongly, I believe, talks about, Shipra and Martina and others, that please, if we want mayors and other political decision makers to really commit to SDGs, they need to be able to kind of serve the city needs as well. So it's kind of like it's proactive. It has to be yes and. I'm not sure if I'm able to clearly state what I really mean, but this is hugely interesting. I think this is exactly what we are going through in Espoo as well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy, for your comments. Thanks, Bella,
Yeah.
to bring us the Malaysian point of view. I would ask Harzila if she wants to add something to what Bella just talked to us, because then we can make this Malaysian package.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I just arrived at home from a long journey from south of Malaysia to KL. Okay, in terms of the SDG, I think Malaysia is very active. Even the mayor is active himself on especially issues. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, especially on the climate change and low carbon initiative. In Malaysia, our economic planning unit is the focal point for the SDG as sustainable development, and it acts as a coordination agency on the initiative related to sustainable development goals. Through the following initiative, they establish a multi-stakeholder participatory governance structure, held several national SDG symposium, implementing SDG initiative, providing funding, and everything. But most importantly, we do report to UN high-level political forum, the National SDG Council, chaired by the Prime Minister of Malaysia, do the reporting to the UN high-level political forum through the steering committees set under him and chaired by the Director General of the Economic Planning Unit Malaysia, which have 5 committees under him that focuses on inclusivity, which is Goal 1, Goal 2, Goal 5, and Goal 10. Working Committee on Well-being, concentrating on Goal 3, Goal 11, Goal 16. Working Committee on Human Capital under Goal 4, and Working Committee Environment and Natural Resources for Goal 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And Working Committee under Economic Growth under Goal 8, 9, and 17. I'm myself involved on the level of the City Hall Kuala Lumpur, reviewing the SDG report on behalf of the City Hall of Kuala Lumpur, which is prepared by Urbanist, our consultant. So we did discuss on all the Sustainable Development Goals 1 to 17 and what is our contribution and action and programs that we have already helped to support the SDGs. So I think the mayor itself is into it. And I think even though the public hasn't really involved directly, but we did have some initiative done, some activities done that link to the SDG itself.
Okay.
Without knowing that it's actually we are supporting the SDG. For example, to curb poverty and hunger, we do have the food kitchen and contribution. The NGOs is contributing food for especially during the COVID to the less beneficial public. So anything I need to elaborate on what I just tell you. Other than that, the alignment of SDG in Malaysia National Development Plan and City Hall of Kuala Lumpur, the alignment of SDG to our structure plan. So it shows our active participating effort in the SDG goals to achieve partly on the SDG goal, the goals that I've already told you earlier under the steering committee.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Harzila, for adding this extra information and confirming the commitment of Malaysia with the agenda, and it looks very very concrete. It's not only marketing, it's really translated into actions, and it's good to have these ideas. Thank you very much, Natalia. Let's try to listen to you now. And
Okay,
Tushar, it's Friday. Tushar, it's Friday night. Go to bed. You don't have to be here again.
guys, do you hear me now?
Yeah, finally.
Finally. Okay, so I'm glad I won't be the only person that haven't ever heard about this CDG, because thanks, Miran, I'm not the only one. Because really, it's not like we don't strive for the well-being of our citizens. No, we really haven't heard about it. And maybe because that's the problem of our territory, because our republic is not recognized, and we just started to participate actively in all these world organizations like United States and local governments. So we're really happy to be here. But we have never heard about CDGs, but we are doing them. For example, poverty ending. There is a program of covering costs for the low-income families. The government covers their costs, for example, for housing, like electricity, water costs, gas, and so on. We also cover their costs for education. For they eat freely in schools. They have free medicine, free education, and so on. So we are trying to do our best in this, according to this goal. You have read our program about affording housing, right? We're also doing our best in order to provide our citizens with the cheap but good housing. And we're doing our best to make our city safe. We have this program that we're developing a safe city program, and which includes covering all this city with the cameras, so we could be in charge of all that happens in the house. If we're talking about enlightening CDGs, we have such interesting government chain that I think it would be easy for us. Why? Because we're a very little republic. A population of our republic is about 500,000 of people. And of course, it is easier to improve a little territory. Of course, it is easier. And we have no regional government. We have only national government and local. And each chief of the city, chief of the city administration, is the member of government. That's why we have a very close connection. And if we have some financial lack of some financial resources, we can always apply to our government to ask them to help with each of these goals. If we're talking about the transparency, there is no problem with this, because we have city administration, we have city council, and we have public city council. But our problem is that our citizens are very passive. And if we want to align these CDGs, we will need to raise their interest, to involve them in this process. I don't know, maybe this should be some mass media program, because it's not only like Miran told, it's not only if you ask anyone in the street, they will say, I don't know what are you talking about. Even us, people in city administration, we don't know about it. And our people, they are very passive by their nature. We have this system of public hearings. No serious decision can be made in our city without public hearings. If are we talking about their budget, every year budget, or any building in the city, we do public hearings. So this should be provided at the public hearings. We always post information about the hearing in the media in advance, but very few of them come. So that's not the problem that we don't want them to participate. They just don't want. Talking about the gaps, of course, we have some gaps that, and I would be happy if we should include them in our local government program. For example, gender equality and empower all women and girls. We have serious problem with the domestic violence. And it's a shame on us because it's 21st century and still statistic is frightening. We still have women that are beaten to death in their homes. Why? Because they don't know where to go. We have no shelter for them. They don't know where to go. They don't know whom to talk to in order to receive some law assistance. And I think that's a serious problem because how can we talk about the safe city if women and kids are beaten to death in their homes, right? So I think that this goal should be implemented and in our national program. And I will do our best in order to talk to our big boss and to include this, because we should have such shelters, we should have such programs, we should have some free law consulting for these women and so on.
Natalia, let me interrupt you and just ask. I see commitment, I see results. Do the population have they know what's going on, in the sense they know that the agenda is passing through all of this, or they just understand this just like, oh, those are the results of the government?
The second parent seat, because they don't know.
So this chapter will be important for you to know how to make them aware of what's going on, because
interest them in this process, right?
Yeah, because there are very simple ways of connecting people, results, and the agenda. And because I think that by the end of the day, we need to realize that it's not only responsibility from local government, from government. As citizens, we do also have responsibilities with the targets and with the accomplishment of the agenda. And when we are talking about publicizing or making people aware of the numbers, of the data, we're not talking about publicity. It's more or less to make people understand that as citizens, they have a role in the agenda. And with these small actions, day by day, we can help to achieve the results. And I love to see your energy talking about the work, because it will be interesting to convert this into information to population, so can be aware that there's a lot of energy and love and passion in what you are all doing, and you are fighting to give them better life conditions, to give social cohesion, to reduce inequalities. And again, by the end of the day, this is for me what the agenda means: to reduce inequalities and to give people better living conditions. So I think that you're going to enjoy this chapter.
Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing with us. It's always good. I have did some consulting for Moldova 15 years ago. I will tell this story later to you. Thank you. Halal, just talked a lot in our chat. So please, Halal, instead of writing, tell us this amazing thing. And I have already a question, because you said that all this work is being done with UNDP support. Would that work have the same results without UNDP? So please talk to us. If you don't read in the chat what Halal shared with us. Are you there, Halal? I think it's not. No. So I have a doubt, or I go to Argentina or I go to Turkey. Where should I travel first?
Well,
You know that Buenos Aires is my favorite place in the world, Sophia. So
great. But I live in Rosario.
but everything that it's all inside the same wonderful country.
It's near.
Yeah. And do you know, I have never been to Rosario. I have this fault in my character.
You have to go.
Yeah, Rosario is my favorite city in the world. City.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosario is
I have
beautiful.
never been. I have worked a lot with Rosario from my Mercos Ciudad's past life. Yeah, last century. It was in in the last century, this life. But we always went to Mar del Plata. We never had meetings in Rosario.
Yes, I trying to. Well, sorry.
No, please
I,
talk to us about what Argentina has been doing and what Rosario, which has very famous experiences in terms of metropolitan governance and results in urban development. Please
yes,
share with us.
fairly one. Thank you all for everything you say. Everything was so interesting. So well, I wrote some ideas. Sorry about my English. It's not so well, but I have some to say. Firstly, our country is divided in province and provincias, and then we have national level, province level, and municipal level. So I find troubles with the coordination between those levels and the dialogue, the multi-levels, and the communication and the work, the teamwork, especially if there are from different political parties. Everything it's very difficult, and also economical crisis is important matter here in Argentina because also make difficult planning because everything is uncertain. I don't know if I say that like that, but it's very difficult.
Is Rosario aligned to national government now?
No. No.
Okay. Understood the crisis.
Not like national, nor provincial, nor
no regional, no local. Ooh.
Yes, but well, this I think also Andrea said that there is a wide distance between papers on documents and also the actions and monitoring, and it's also that happened here in Argentina because we have our agenda, but I don't know if there is many actions to achieve that goals. also the community don't know much about the SDGs, and only the people who work with it, with these goals, and or they work with work projects, international cooperation projects, like me, for example. We in Clay we work in 100 renewals, and we work with Rosario, La Plata, and Avellaneda, and we link our goals for our roadmap for the transition, we energy transition with the CDGs. So I think we are looking forward to work more with these goals and achieving these goals. Well,
Sophia, can you
yes.
listen?
Yes.
Let me ask you the same question I did to Miran, because you said that at national level you do have documents, everything's beautiful.
Yes.
And we do have an economical crisis established in Argentina for several years, and the dependency of international money and support.
Yes.
Do you think those documents exist because of that?
Yes. 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 Yes.
It's just to prove, so okay, you can give me money,
like,
look.
Yes, it's like you have the picture of the goals, and you don't see that it's a work behind that.
There's no real commitment to the agenda.
Yes, you can see that because you don't see the work together. Now that's multi-level that you need to that happen. So, but I think that this side, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it okay, many institutions and people are committed and have the capacity to contribute. That's the positive view of all.
No, and it's quite interesting because you're kind of the first one to mention that even though there's no commitment or political will in order to do, on the other hand, you have people, you have a resource, you have knowledge to do this, but you are not doing. And it's amazing to listen to that, because most of the time it's the opposite. We don't have the resources, we don't have the technicians, we don't have the knowledge, and someone is pushing us to do this implementation. So it's a different perspective, because in the fact that even though you don't have money to do that, but you know how you do know have knowledge and people able to implement the agenda, which means with a little bit of political will, something can happen, and can in Argentina probably it's still, there's time. 9 years, we still have time to do something.
Yes. In our project, we are planning 2050, so it's really difficult, but we are working hard. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to. You can't stop having the idea. We can quit. I think that you can still have to follow the perspective that we can make a change, and in the bigger picture, we have to think about future generations, not only about us. Thank you very much for sharing. I have to add Rosario to my list. After Fernando, I will do this. Thanks for being with us. Halal wrote a lot of things here, and Andrea as well, about the thing of the political parties are a challenge, unfortunately, because in the bigger picture, They are not thinking about the population. They are thinking about their own fights, their political fights. And Argentina, it's for me always an example that national level fighting with local level in terms of the of Buenos Aires, the capital of the city, and several problems never had a solution because of that, and people were suffering with very bad housing conditions because of that, because land was national, but the city government was not talking to national level. And this happens all around the world. And unfortunately, we have to depend on these people to run our lives. But fingers crossed for better days. I still have here, I'm not sure Halal will be able to talk if he's listened to us. And I have Duigo. Are you there? People are really suffering with connections today. No comments, questions to see if people is still alive on the other side, so I can still have the opportunity to listen to them. Remember to share, you're only a listener today. Behave yourself. Fernando, would you like to make your comments?
Yes,
Please.
It was amazing to hear all of you, and I think we have seen for the last years a lot of situations like similar to the ones that you presented today. Some of you had like a better relation with the national governments that are empowering the decentralization, or other you have like a good coordination with more regional metropolitan area. The others have, or they not have any coordination at all. And the great part, I think the problem here is to create this public awareness with the general population, civil society, that are fundamental to bring the political will, right, and to make our elected officials and partners compromised as we are, right? Or so how to do this, right? There's no ready formula for that, but we've been and now I start to do what Sid always calls propaganda, which I think it is communication work also, because we are working for this last years since the MDGs. In fact, I think Sid and I worked in different parts of the MDGs implementation in Brazil.
You are older than me. I was not working on them.
Yeah.
I was at school by that time. So
yeah, no, you were at that time at the national government, and I was like a city representative. But it's interesting to see that, and UCLG always was part of this dialogue, and during all the negotiation for the SDGs agenda, I think UCLG has played like an important role to guarantee the presence of local and regional governments there. So we can see that this work has been very powerful for the SDG 11, for instance, and also with the SDG 17, the importance of alliances, like multi-level alliances and all that. But just to say that there's no ready formula, right? But we have some indication of successful cases for awareness raising campaign for the general local population that you have already on the chapters, but just thinking here of cases of Buenos Aires, Montevideo with the SDGs youth festivals or different events or materials or activities as the Flemish Association with the time capsule, or some kind of use of local training, local learning as a tool for awareness raising with different local stakeholders, as Cuenca already mentioned, with the training of local officers and with academy too, as Quito has done like some years ago with social movements also, but also with this important, or we can think of local political advocacy with councillors, with civil society, or sometimes with local communication strategy. I think this is fundamental, and we have seen and we'll see also in this course how to do this SDG campaign, not only a thing of the International Relations Department, but I think from the government and more generally as a local administration communication priority, right? And I was thinking here that last week I've been to for the first time in a lot of months. I was in the cinema, and before the movie started, it played like a propaganda for the COP26 of the Barcelona municipality, about how it was important that to have the cities involved and citizens involved in the COP26 agenda, and how Barcelona was doing this with London and other cities. So this kind of commitment, right, to transform the communication international relations department into the government, the local government communication strategy and priority. So here I would like to share with you some of the things that we have created for the past years that could help you, and not to depend only on partnerships with different kind of organization, but that you could do yourself to generate inside your local governments and with the different local stakeholders some kind of awareness raising strategies, or maybe some kind of inspiration, right, for you too. So we have this first I will mention these local for action hubs. There are basically cities and local and regional governments that are implementing the SDGs, that are creating a more favorable condition to the implementation of SDGs locally. So here you will find a lot of different cases and experiences. Another example are, and all of these you can use, right? You can download and use and adapt and use the way is best for you. Another example are the facilitation and training of trainers module that you could like adapt and read and download and use the methodologies for the learning inside of your government and with different civil society organizations and members. So here we have like a lot of different modules that inspire some of them, and some of the content inspired the contents that you are seeing on the online courses. So there you have like for different situations and different publics. So you have an introduction, a more planning and monitoring, reporting, and the decentralized cooperation. Another important thing to do more massive with a massive public, like if you want to do a very fast training and a general idea, we have the MOOCs, we have the massive and open online courses that are also based some of them as this course is on the general modules. So here you can find also. I will send all the links for you if you wish to follow. But another thing, I don't know if I will share here. Let's see. Just to mention that for the future chapters that we have also the intelligence department that publish this kind of gold reports on SDGs that they collect a lot of different experiences on the monitoring and about the evolution of SDGs in different local and regional governments. I think they are a good reference too. And in the end, just to mention that we have here, we have developed after COVID some methodologies to help you do this learning online. So I think Natalia here, right, was talking about the kind of gender challenges that we face with the COVID. So some of the methodologies that we can work and we can facilitate, and you can have access also. You just write to us to do online with your local officers and stakeholders are mural methodologies and tools that you can also, like for instance, is to design a public policy on SDGs and decentralized cooperation, or a project of decentralized cooperation aligned to the SDGs. So just mentioning here that we are working in parallel with this course to offer you different references that we can use, and we count on you as future trainers and to multiply this agenda. So that's why I'm showing you this in the future after the course, to be part of the learning forum that we have with different organizations and with your national associations and regional sections, to continue working with this with us with other kind of tools and methodologies. Sorry for the propaganda, but I'm here to raise awareness about the possibilities and to help you to make your own strategies for that. Thank you, Sid.
Did you do propaganda? I never
No.
had that feeling. I never mentioned that.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, it's very important for you to do that. I think it's to people to be aware of the tools that you have at UCLG, and you're gonna see a lot of those examples in our chapter 3. So chapter 3, it's all about advocacy and choose to do advocacy, and we have improved the chapter to give you more and more examples, simple ones that will make, just like by the time Natalia was talking, that will make people aware not only of what you were doing, but how you were doing that. So connecting with the agenda. And there are very, very, very simple examples to do that. You don't have to invest a lot of money. And some of the examples are quite fun. So you can do fast bows. I love time capsule. I think that is something that you can do. There are a lot of activities to do with kids at school, and kids will bring information into their homes. So there are a lot of ways of making people aware of the agenda and making them better citizens. We still have 1 minute. I would like to know if there's something else that someone wants to talk, any comments, any questions. I have no words to express how thankful I am for all that I have listened, for all the knowledge we have shared with us. I think this recording will be a blessing for those who are not able to join us today. Thanks again for your time and for find the strength and doing the efforts to keep on the course. I know that everybody's tired. It's the end of the year. It's have been 2 years of pandemic, locked at home, working home office, or just right now coming back to real life, which means back to the office, back to traveling. But thanks for being here with us. We still have I will open the general communication forum with the discussion on the debate. So don't forget to make your comments, as some of you have promised that you're going to do. And if you have any doubts, any comments, you all know how to find me very well. I hope to see you all next month in our final Zoom debate. Yeah, we are reaching to the end of the course, but it's always a pleasure to have you all here with us. Have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget that you have the questionnaire to do. Okay, I'll keep an eye on your participation. Fernando, thanks for the support and see you soon. Bye-bye, people. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.